Hi there, everybody. It's Wendy Hernandez, and welcome to another Command the Courtroom live stream. I have a really special guest that I'm very excited to introduce you to. But before I do that, I'm going to do the normal disclaimer, which is that, remember, I'm an attorney and I'm only licensed in the state of Arizona. This is not legal advice that I'm giving. Whoops. Hold on. Sorry, got some feedback there. So I'm not giving legal advice. You always have to check the rules in your jurisdiction. And remember, you guys, mind your P's and Q's on the chat because your ex could be watching. And what that means is that some bad comments, should you choose to put them in the chat, could end up as Exhibit A in the courtroom. So let me introduce the special guest today. So today I have a speaker. Most importantly, she's a healer, she's an author, and she's an actress. I have Dee Wallace with us here today, and Dee is going to talk to us about conscious creation and also fear. So thank you, Dee, for being here tonight. I'm so excited to have you.
My pleasure. My whole agenda in life is to serve. So it's good to be here.
Thanks, Dee. So, I'm going to just give you a brief little background about the viewers on this live stream and people who are going to be watching it after it's posted to YouTube. And, it's predominantly people who are going through some sort of family court case. Either they could be contemplating divorce, or they could be going through a divorce. They could be going through a child custody case to somebody that they were or were not married with. They may or may not have an attorney. But one thing that I find in communicating with a lot of the viewers is that they have fear. They are afraid about, hey, I'm in a relationship that I think is maybe not so good for me, but I'm afraid to leave because will life get better or worse? Or if I get out of this relationship, will I lose my kids? Or as they're going through a child custody battle, they're almost paralyzed by the thought that they could lose their children.
Yeah.
So I'm just really hoping that you can shed some light on this concept of fear, which I think that people often think is a bad thing.
Well, first of all, I have no legalese about this at all. I am coming from a spiritual and brain science perspective. I want you all to know that even though I'm an actress that does movies, I come from a broken home myself. My father was an alcoholic who committed suicide. I have a brother that's committed suicide. We were very poor. I know the struggle that my mother had to go through in order to finally leave my father, which is when he killed himself, and all the guilt that goes along with that. So I also have been married and divorced 3 times. So I fortunately have never gone through a negative experience about that. And I need to talk a little bit about my work so you'll understand. All my work is based on the direction of energy. You learned in 5th grade that everything is energy, and energy must follow a direction. Now, we can either direct energy consciously or we can direct energy unconsciously. And most of us are doing it in a totally unconscious way. Fear is when you don't think you have control over your own life. If you truly knew that you did, and you do, on an energetic level, you would not be in so much fear. The second principle I want to bring forward here is that there is a reason within you that you attracted the person that you are married to or with. There are limiting beliefs, within you or things that were modeled to you as a child that made you believe and gave you a reason to believe that you needed to create this kind of relationship. So your real freedom lies within finding what that is within you. Afterwards, if you want more information about that, I have a great TED Talk on YouTube. And it goes into all the things I learned and were either verbally taught or modeled when I was a young girl that created me creating my life around those things. Most people don't know that the way we see ourselves, the way we see the world, and the way we see the world seeing us is totally complete in a child's brain by 8 years old. 8 years old. So if you really want to see what's running you, go back to conception through 8 years old and see what was going on with your mom and dad. And remember what you were watching and what you were hearing and what you were taught, because you will see where a lot of your fears and beliefs about how life works, especially in relationships, come from that period in your life. So we direct energy every time we have a thought, and every time we have a feeling, and every time we have a perspective. Most of you know that your hearts and your brains are electrical. That's why they measure them with electrocardiograms and electroencephalograms. So when you have a thought, it conjures a feeling, and both those have an electrical impulse that shoot out into the universe. The universe then goes, wow, our job is to match that signal. And then that signal is returned to you as the reality of your life. So, for example, if you learned when you were a little girl, oh, women have to take care of men. That is a consistent signal that you've been sending out since you were very young. You will only attract men you have to take care of.
Interesting.
Because that belief has to be matched. The good book puts it in as you believe, so it will be delivered to you. Brain science says whatever you focus on, consciously or unconsciously, that's what you keep creating in your life. So maybe the guys out there were little boys and they saw their dads hurting their moms emotionally, physically. Well, what happens is our brain goes, oh, I get it. That's the way the world works. If my gods are acting that way, that's the way the world is. And so it will give you a lot of insight into yourself and into your partner's behavior so that you can start redirecting how you're thinking about it. So you can start teaching your brain to default to a more positive outlook.
So, question, you brought up heart and you brought up brain. Are they connected to each other? I mean, I know they're connected.
Absolutely.
Can you explain more about that, please, Dee?
Well, your heart has a brain. Anybody that wants to research that more can go to the Heart Math Institute. And your brain is constantly delivering and receiving messages from your heart. Now, the challenge is that we've all got this monkey mind. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you better be afraid. Oh, he's an asshole. Whatever it is, right? And your mind is created to doubt and to question. Your mind is not created to know. Your heart knows. Your heart always knows. Your heart is where you want to go first. And when you hear that truth, you tell your brain, we're going to create that.
So, Dee, I think that a challenge that people sometimes have, myself included, is knowing when to trust their own heart, being able to hear that inner voice. Do you have any ideas on, that might help somebody with that?
Well, I think most people, when they say, I can't trust my heart, they're really talking about their gut or their mind. Mm-hmm. They're not talking about their heart, because when you truly fall into your heart and you want the highest answer, you don't get the answers that you get from your gut and your mind. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure everybody out there on both sides, whatever side you're on, want the best for your children. Your heart knows that. So if your heart knows you want the best for your children, then you have to get out of your mind and drop into your heart and go, okay, if I want the best for my children, what's the best decision that I can make around this?
So how do we get out of our guts and out of our heads into our heart? How do you distinguish?
Well, again, all energy has to follow your direction. Mm-hmm. So if you say, all right, I'm choosing right now to go into my heart and hear through love what the highest thing is, you will. Unfortunately, most people in this situation are in reaction. Mm-hmm. And if you are in reaction, guys, you're out of creation. So creation isn't about how can I get back? How can I get what I think they don't want to give me? How can I make this right? How can I fix this? It's not about any of that. It's clearly, what do you want to create? And until you can get to the point of really being focused and secure in knowing what you want, it's very difficult for the universe to match it. So I'm assuming all of you listening to this want love, you want peace, you want balance in your life, you want safety. Hold on, I'm listening. There's two more things. You want the highest good for all. And the highest good for all sometimes means you don't get everything you want. And you want, I'm listening to the channel, sorry. You want things to be right. But right doesn't necessarily mean you're right. And that's a really important distinction for all of us, that we want the highest good for everybody concerned. Because when you get in situations like this, what most of us want to do is win.
True.
We want to win, and we want to get back at the person that we think has hurt us. But that isn't creation, that's reaction. So be clear about what you want. And I tell everybody, write it down and start with, make one column. I want a court date soon. I want a fair judge. I want the highest for my child. I want us to amicably come to a conclusion about whatever it is. And then on the next column, say, I am creating, I am creating, I am creating this. Because you don't just want it, guys. Your intention is to create it. And that's the direction that the universe needs.
That's right. Okay. I appreciate that. So a question, when a person is charting out what it is that they want, what would you recommend in terms of, should they be speaking generally, about these bigger concepts, like you were just saying, balance, peace, harmony, or should they be visualizing or thinking in their own brain, a picture or a scene of what they want their life to look like, where they want to go, the types of relationships they want to have? How do they project what they want? Specific, general, or both?
Well, you want to be specific, but not so specific that you're not open to all possibilities. And I teach everybody to find a love place. And a love place is anything you think of that makes you smile and makes your heart open. I go to my doggie, Freedom. The minute I talk about her, I feel joy. Christmas, I love Christmas. So for me, like when I was working to increase my money, I was clear that I wanted more money, and I would connect money with Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Most people try and create more money by hating the fact that they don't have enough of it.
That's right.
And what that tells our brain and the universe from our signal is that, oh, money's negative. And we don't even know we're doing it. So I would go to your love place. I cannot stress how important and how powerful creating from that place is. Love is the most powerful creative force on earth. And when you're in situations like a lot of you are in, you don't want to choose to go to love. But that's how you're going to get what you want.
What would you say, Dee, to the person who has been in an abusive relationship, whether it's emotional, physical, or both, or they're in a relationship with somebody that has a personality disorder, and they feel, they're victims of their circumstance?
Okay, well, I would stop you right there. Because if you're a victim and you're defining yourself as a victim, that's the signal that you're sending out. So you'll be able to be more of a victim.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Victims are not creators. Victims are reactors. And victims, and I don't mean to be callous about this. I don't mean to say to you that I don't have empathy, but my job is to tell you how to get out of where you're at and create what you want. And being a victim is never going to do it for you guys.
So how do you get out? What do you do? Because I feel like a lot of people are caught in this broken record cycle where they just keep replaying things over and over. How do they stop it?
Well, one of my favorite techniques is self-talk. First of all, I get up every day and I direct my day. Today, I am living consciously. Today, I choose love. Today, I choose the highest good for all. Today, I am divinely guided. You want to direct your day, because when you direct your day, you're directing yourself and your own energy, right? And then if I start going into the toilet sometime during the day, I just stop and I go, Deanna, hello? Do you realize what you're doing? Do you look at your thoughts? They're pretty soon you're gonna be so far down in the toilet you won't even have to flush it. You'll just be sucked in. By that time, I'm kind of laughing, and I've brought myself back to objectivity. So if you can be objective, if you can get yourself back to being objective and watching yourself, then you have power over where you go and what you think and what you do again. And then you can choose to go to that love place and go, okay, let me remember, even if it's a piece of paper, this is what I want. Not where I was going with all my thoughts and everything. One of the most powerful exercises you can do is the breathing exercise. And the breathing exercise was given to me through the channel. I cannot tell you how powerful it is. It's life-changing and it's easy. So you begin by going to your love place, opening your heart, going to your love place, feeling good. And then let's say, let's just say we want peace, that's what we're choosing. We want to create just for the sake of having somebody. So you're in your love place. You take a big, deep breath to the count of 3 or 4. And with a smile on your face, you exhale while you say, I am peace. Not I want peace. Not I'm getting peace. But literally, I am peace itself. You do that for 10 minutes a day, and you watch your life turn around.
That's amazing.
It's so simple, and everybody can do it, and it's incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. Now, you do it with a smile, because the smile tells your brain, oh, being peace feels good. It makes me happy, right? I am a loving mother. I am creating harmony in my life, or I am harmony, right? But the most important thing, guys, is you can't do it for an agenda. Again, you can't do it to win over somebody else, because everything starts with you. Everything starts within you. And when you shift you, your life shifts around you.
Do relationships change, Dee?
Everything changes. And I've worked with couples that have had amazing results around this. I have worked with people who go to work and they have horrible bosses that mistreat them. And they've turned around all that relationship. But who you're turning around most is you. Because The universe and the world can only show up around what you create from within yourself.
So, would it be unusual for somebody who wants to step into this creation process to begin the practice, begin doing the things that you're suggesting, and then to be confronted with fear again and want to stop or want to turn back to the old habits?
Of course, because unfortunately, we've been taught that power is a bad thing and a scary thing. Bad people are in power. Bad people misuse their power. So I invite you to direct your power through divine love, and then it cannot be misused. It cannot.
Okay, so shift from unconscious creation to conscious creation.
Yep. Say exactly what you want. Match it up with love and joy. Ask all the universe to come in and partner with you, and you will see things shift.
Will people still feel afraid when they do this?
Up to them.
Mm.
Do you understand that being afraid is a choice?
Do I understand that?
Well, let's just sit with that for a minute. Being joyful is a choice.
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
Deciding to be in love instead of fear, that's a choice.
Yeah.
Now, if you feel like you are in an abusive relationship, get the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
Why, if you love yourself, would you choose to stay in an abusive relationship?
Agree 100%.
So the more you can love yourself, guys, the more you will step forward for yourself in love, and the more the universe can match that.
Thank you. So All's Well is saying, what can we do to relieve anxiety or tremors when going through abuse? Can you speak to that, Dee?
Well, anxiety, again, we get anxious because we don't know. Oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, what's he going to do? What are they going to do? How's she going to react? Is she going to take the kid? Is she, that's why it's so important for you to consciously know what you want to create, so that it brings you back into the control of your own life, so that you do know. Right now, if you get physical tremors and reactions, those are sense memories. Your body is going, oh, I remember that. Now, I'm not a doctor, not a therapist, I'm a channel. But I know from my own experience that oftentimes, just like when you were a kid and there was a boogeyman in the closet, and there wasn't a boogeyman in the closet, but in your reality, there was a boogeyman in the closet. And so you'd be in bed like this. That's a sense memory of an expectation of something that was never going to happen. But in your reality, you were making it happen before it ever could have happened, and it never could happen.
Yes.
So the expectation is what's causing the anxiety. And the more you can take control and really direct the energy of your life so that you will know that you have some control in how your life shows up, the less anxiety you're going to have.
Okay, perfect. So another question related to these experiences that we have by 8 years old that then shape our future. So a lot of people are going through hotly contested custody proceedings. They're in a tug of war with the other parent over the children. A lot of times the children are in the middle of the situation.
Yeah.
What can we do to
Again, what do you want? Most of the people in that situation have not really gotten clear about what they want. They just want to win. The universe can't work with you. And if you're waiting for God to show up for you, he ain't gonna without your direction.
Mm-hmm.
Ask and ye receive.
That's right.
Ask in the original Hebrew means claim or demand. This is what I am creating now. Then God in the universe can come along and help you. I can only imagine, because this is one thing I have not experienced in my own life, my child being caught in the middle. I know that I would want the highest for my child, even if it means sharing custody with my mate. The first question I would ask your child is, what do they want? And get their input. Now, if you have information that your child or you isn't safe with this person, that's a whole other thing. That's a piece of information that affects you creating the highest good for all. But your heart will tell you. We are never taught to go to our hearts, guys.
How can we teach our kids to go to their hearts, Dee? Or how can we not cause them to forget?
Kids know. Watch them. Your heart knows how to go to love when you're around a baby or a beautiful pet that you love. Boom, you're there.
Yeah.
So don't tell me you don't know how to do it, because you do.
Yeah.
You just don't choose to do it.
Right.
You need to do it because you want to be right, and because you go into reaction from fear. And that does not allow you to consciously create from love what you want.
Got it. So watch your kids more, guys. I mean, observe them, see how they're acting. Is that right? See what they're doing, see the joy they're expressing, or your pet. Well,
and for God's sake, don't put them in the middle.
Yes.
Don't make them make the other parent the bad guy and the scapegoat. You're only hurting your kid. You're not getting what you want. You're hurting your kid. And that's not fair. They didn't sign up for that.
Dee, so just a couple more questions. Is fear ever healthy?
It's only healthy when it makes you realize what you're in fear of, so that you know that you don't want that. Now, that being said, you can go, I'm in fear for my life and I don't want that, so I'm out of here. Right?
Right. That's right. So you're distinguishing.
Continue to live in fear, guys.
Yeah.
That's not self-love at all.
Okay. All right. So at the root of all of this is the conscious creation, the being intentional every day, the undoing the patterns of the past, but just really just being aware of what it is that you want in your life and going there as much as possible.
And consciously creating it from love. Yes.
How long is this going to take? How long does this take people to get to the point where
it depends on the person. There are people out there now that go, oh my God, this makes so much sense. I freaking get it. I'm starting right now. And there's other people that are going, yeah, but yeah, it sounds great, but, and that probably not going to change much for them. Like I said, it all starts with you. You know, being a lawyer, you can bring information, you can give support, you can tell them from your expertise what you think the best route would be, but ultimately it's their choice.
Right.
We were given choice, and that choice in every moment creates who we are.
Excellent. Excellent. So you guys, please go back and listen to this more than once. I think it's very important information. I love hearing this information, and I'm glad that I've rediscovered Dee. And Dee, you have resources available to help people in their journey, towards conscious creation, self-love,
Yep.
fear. Can you share a little bit more about what you do?
Well, I have a free radio show. Anybody can call in and talk with the channel and ask a question about anything. It's 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings, Pacific time, 9 a.m. Pacific time. If you go to my website, IamDeeWallace.com, right on the homepage, it will tell you how to connect to the radio show. And in the store, there are webinars and filmed teachings and workshops about any subject you pretty much ever want to talk about.
Excellent. This is a wonderful resource for everybody. And Dee, you have done so much important work in your life, in your career. And, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming on to my show, Command the Courtroom. I never imagined you'd say yes. So it's
well, you must have imagined it somewhere.
That's true.
Maybe.
Thank you for that. Thank you for reminding me of.
You had to ask.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Well, I am so happy, and I think that you're going to gain some more fans, and you're going to help a lot more people. So thank you for spreading the message, and thank you for being here tonight.
God bless all of you, and just know all possibilities are open to you.
I love it. So that's a perfect note to end our show on tonight, you guys. And I will see you next week with another show. But until then, remember to keep on trucking and get out there and command the courtroom. Good night, everyone.